exercise without killing our joints and doing it in the convenience of our own home effectively. Like, do we need all the fancy stuff? Or is that, I think if we can get used to the simple, then the choice to do the other things really is just a choice.
I agree. Actually, one of the things I saw about a year ago or so, I had the luck to go to Laird Hamilton's house. He's, for people that don't know him, he's like king of surfing. And this guy's probably in his 50s at this point. And his goal is just to be able to surf for as long as he possibly can. So he does his weighted workout in the water. And because he knows he's got to save his joints, he's got to be able to, use everything he's got. And he does a lot of that, intermittent hot to cold thing where they do the sauna forever and then they jump in the ice bath. And which from an immune standpoint, from every doctor I've heard of says this is fabulous. I'm still not doing it, but I know it's a great idea. But to watch Laird do these weight workout, you just grab your weights and get in the water. It's like brilliant, really good idea. Now we all don't have a pool, but that if Laird is protecting his joints, maybe it's something we should all consider. You did bring up people who are running, and I have heard that if you were running as a kid or as a teen or whatever, and you've just maintained your running, chances are you're probably fine if you don't have injuries at this point. Like you've built up that bone, your system is capable. I think it's those people that say, oh, well, it's COVID and I can't go to the gym, so I'm just going to go out and run now, which will then create overuse injuries because your system isn't ready for it.
Yeah, I have some friends that were runners, and I think just sometimes you don't listen to your body and they overdid it. So now they have stress fractures and things like that. So I think it is important to just be open to different types of exercise. Maybe you love the adrenaline rush of running. Is there something else that can give you that same rush and maybe mix it up too? I think that's, as a fitness professional, I'm sure you can shed some more light on that, but we know we never want to plateau in our exercise endeavors too, right?
I think that's what the success of that $2,500 Peloton came. So many people took to spinning and indoor cycling. And of course, that was the first company to do the virtual class where they're in New York and you're in Iowa and, you're on your bike and everybody's kumbayaing it, which is great. But I do think, yes, of course, I've seen so many fun alternative, like I own one of those little mini jump sport trampolines, and from a lymphatic system, standpoint where you're really doing a lot of fluid flow by jumping up and down on a trampoline. They're fun. You feel like you're 12, it's a blast. Those are really, really fun.
I love that. I might need one of those.
Yeah, they really are fun. And that's a great interval train, in my opinion. I also like things like the BOSU, which is, if anyone's seen a stability ball, it's a big round ball that people used to often sit on, when they were at their desk. That was kind of a trend. Well, the BOSU is cut in half and it's got a black flat bottom. So one side would be unstable and the other side, because it's a half dome, and the other side would be a flat surface with little grooves for your thumbs. So you can use both sides. So it's called both sides up, I think is why it's called BOSU. But anyway, big fan of that, because when you put it on the ground on the flat side and then you step up and down on it, it is an unstable surface. So it's a good balance challenge, but it's also rubber. So it's soft and you can jump up on it, but you can walk off of it if you're having, joint issues. You can also jump off of it if you're a super fit person. There's a lot of fun things to that. And I think that's about a $90. You probably even get them used for cheaper. I'm sure anybody would just log on to YouTube. They're going to find 8,000 ways to use the BOSU, but that's a real fun way to, go upper body, lower body, great workout with just one tool. So I kind of like that one as well.
Have you ever wondered, is rinsing my produce with the water that comes out of the sink that I don't even drink enough to really clean it? Well, then you're one of the smartest people I know, because you're absolutely right. It's not enough. That's why we created the only all-natural and patented line of food wash and wipes, and it's called Eat Cleaner. It's tasteless, odorless, and lab tested, and it removes up to 99.9% of the residue that water can't, including pesticides, wax, soil, and junk that can carry bacteria that can really make you sick. Plus, we formulated it to help extend the shelf life of your fresh produce too, and that'll save you money. When your berries are lasting up to 10, 12 days, you know that's a good thing. It helps your produce last up to 5 times longer using a natural blend of fruit acids and antioxidants. So there's no chemicals. It's just clean eating fun. And this can help save your family an average of over $500 per year. Make it easy on yourself, reduce waste, and get that fruit and veggies into your body, where it's going to do you a lot of good and not in the trash. Check us out, eatcleaner.com, or head to our Amazon store at amazon.com/eatcleaner.
I love that. And so I have a question for you. If you were to pick 3 pieces of equipment for your home gym to do your home exercise, what would those 3 things be that you think are the most efficient and best investments for the money?
Yeah, BOSU would be one of them because I've had several. You know, when my dog pops one, I go get another one. I really, really, really like it. One that is a little more pricey, but I swear you will never have to replace it, is a TRX, which stands for Total Resistance Exercise. People that have ever seen it in a movie, looks like a yellow and black seatbelt, and you hang it. You can hang it from a door. You can hang it from a tree. You know, you can hang it from something, and it's basically something that you can use. It has handles that you can put your feet in them. I know it's hard to picture if you've not seen one, but think of it as almost a T strap, but the tops of the T's can be high or low. So in other words, you can use them higher up for hand work, like push-up stuff, or you can slide the handles down to the feet level, and then maybe your hands are on the ground and you've got your feet in the handles. So there's all kinds of things you can do with them. It was developed by a Navy SEAL who also went to business school. Randy Tetrick, I think is his name. And he invented it quite a while ago. And it's such an amazing thing because it is you and your body's weight. So this TRX really just assists you in doing all kinds of exercises. And you can do TRX yoga, you can do TRX stretch, you can do TRX for old people, you can do TRX, just killer workouts. Really a fun tool. And it's, I think, about $200. So it is pricey. But again, it's made out of some of the sturdiest, I don't even want to call it fabric. It's almost like seatbelt. So it's pretty indestructible.
Yeah,
so I really like it.
You can get quite a workout from it.
Yeah. So that's really great. And then the BOSU, as I said, I am a fan of regular weights. So I don't want to just say, grab those, but something I wanted to mention that I think it's the other side of the coin of fitness, which is the myofascial release. So whether it's a foam roller or whether it's these soft balls, there's a couple companies that I would encourage listeners, if you're really going, I want to do some of these things, I would say look up Melt Method, which is a soft, short foam roller and very small balls for your hands and your feet. And the other one is called Yoga Tune-Up, which is about 4 different size balls, different tensions. And there's a book that goes with it called The Role Model. And both of these women, and they both know each other, we call them fasciaistas. They know the fascia. I know, so clever. But the reason why it's so important is why we're doing this, not only for our body, but also for our brain. The fascia, which is sort of like a wetsuit, your body's wetsuit. It's sheaths of fascia run in your muscles and near your joints and ligaments. And often when you're in pain, it isn't your muscles or your joints that are sore. It's the fascia pulling too tight so it's connective tissue that's suffering, and it's dehydrated from either overuse or underuse. So I say the third thing I would do is make sure you have balls or foam rollers, because you can roll yourself out of pain, and you can also increase circulation in those areas. Oftentimes, and I'm not a doctor, but a lot of surgery prevention, if you know how to use them, they're both amazing. So both of these women were both super fitness people, but they did so much research on them. And there's a lot of people that talk about fascia. They're not the only ones, but I will say, from a neurological standpoint, our brain talks to our nerves and our muscles. So when our nerves are upset and tense and anxious and all of these things, you can find relief through using a myofascial system. So that I think is super important, because here we are worried about, this muscle or, weight gain or whatever. But if we can calm down our system through rolling, either by ball or foam roller, it's astounding the more range of motion you'll have, how your body calms down. There's a lot to it. It really is. So I just found it to be way more about my brain and how I was feeling than maybe my sore sacroiliac joint or my hip flexor or whatever that I was actually working on. It's really interesting stuff.
Yeah, I love my foam roller. We have a couple, and it's definitely something that I had to really train myself to do, because I like to stretch, but the rolling is a whole different level of good pain.
Yeah, unless you're injured, it's not something we reach for, right? It's people only go to it oh, I'm dying,
Well, I tore my ACL and my MCL back in April of last year, right after the pandemic and quarantine happened. So my exercise has really changed. I was a total cardio bunny, and now I'm much more, focused on building strength and low impact and stuff. But I have to add to your list of indispensable pieces of equipment, resistance band. Thing, the ones with the handles and the ones that you can wrap around your legs to create resistance.
Yeah, the loop. Yeah.
The booty bands.
I love those.
These balls. Two super inexpensive pieces of equipment that you can do infinite numbers of exercises with.
Absolutely. I do. I agree with you. And talk about cheap and cheerful. I think those are under $20. I mean, same way with the stability ball, the big ball, even though that's not as, you don't get in there and get after it, but it's kind of a fun, under $20 tool that I think, might make people happy. And the other one is gliding discs. I think they're $19.95 or something, but now people will often say, if you saw what a gliding disc is, it's for your hands or your feet, but it just makes any movement you do, you glide instead of step. So if I was doing a back lunge, I would glide back with my, foot on a disc, and then to have to pull it back in. It just makes the workout that much more difficult, but yet it's smooth. So it's somewhat easy, but anyway, they are fun and they are harder. It really ups your fitness game. When you're talking about inexpensive, that's a blast.
So the point really here is have fun with movement. Can I get an amen on that?
Oh, amen. Yeah, sing it.
Especially as adults with a lot of responsibility, when do you get a chance to just have playtime and allow yourself that minute where you're not really taking yourself that seriously? You're just moving and hopefully releasing some fun endorphins.
I agree. I think I listen to a lot of podcasts, and that is one of the things I've heard a lot of these actually doctors and fitness pros and whatever is the element of play. And as we age, of course, we forget to do that altogether, which again is why having a dog is the best, because, their little 2-year-old brain they make you laugh. They make you laugh so hard. They're so funny. Actually, I posted one today. My dog was playing with some, rope with a piece of rubber on it. And just, she just was having the best time and, working out unbeknownst to herself, on her back, all fours up, chewing and flipping and itching. And it was hysterical. So I agree with you. So, if you don't have a dog, maybe borrow somebody's or go to the shelter and walk them. They're such delightful creatures and which bring a lot of joy. But and also if people that have family, in the beginning of COVID, I grabbed a trainer who has a kid and I said, let's do some stuff that kids like to do. And we did shuttle run. We crawled like bears. We did leapfrog. We did somersaults. We did handstands. We did tag. All these things. And you don't have to be little to do them. As a matter of fact, it's probably funnier if you aren't, but those things are great.
Yeah. I love it. Let the little kid out. So how can people find you these days, Lori?
Well, so yeah, I stepped down off the ABC7 hat. So I'm at, my name's Lori Corbin. So it's just Lori Corbin TV. And that's on Insta, Twitter, and Facebook. And I'm old enough that I don't do any other ones. Those are the only three.
I'm with you on that. I have no brain patience for TikTok.
Right.
And
yeah.